Okay, everyone, welcome. I am so excited to be here today because with me today I have Cynthia DeVera, and Cynthia is from Swoop Funding. And we were talking just earlier. I feel like this is the scoop on Swoop today. So I am really excited to be bringing this
Yeah,
to you all because I'm picking that you, like myself, had probably not even heard about Swoop prior to today. Some of you may have, which is a great thing, but I'm thinking quite a few of you possibly haven't. So today we're going to spend some time with Cynthia, and she's going to tell us a little bit more about Swoop and what Swoop does, because I think you're going to want to listen to this because it's going to be really important to you and your business. All right, Cynthia, welcome. Thank you so much for being here today. It's
thank
lovely
you for
having you.
having me.
Oh, it's
Yeah,
so exciting. All right, I'm going to jump straight into some questions. And the usual question that we start off with is kind of the origin story. You obviously came in, you can give us your employee number when you start to talk, but you came
that's a
in pretty
secret.
early on the scene. And so Andrea and Kieran are the founders of Swoop.
Yes, that's right.
What was it that made them want to start the business? Like, what was the problem they were solving?
Absolutely. They wanted to pretty much democratize the way people access funding. And funding doesn't necessarily mean, looking for debt solutions, but from a more whole of wallet solution, which is around debt, grants, equity, and also business savings. There's not a digital platform right now that provides a personalized option for SMEs to do that. Andrea and Kieran have built this platform because when they were consultants and accountants themselves, they found that it was a lot of work to find and talk to 100 different type of people, do the research, put it all together. And so they created this platform to simply provide this in a way that's easy to understand for businesses, but also for accountants. So the platform is also used by accountants and advisors so that they can have more conversations with their customers around what option best suits them instead of shopping on their own.
Wow. So I imagine that is going to save a ton of time, but not only is that going to save a ton of time, but probably expose people to more solutions that are going to be right for them. Is that right?
Yeah. Absolutely, it does. And in most cases, we've actually also worked with international lenders and providers who want to fund Australian businesses. And that's a huge advantage given that we're also global and our localized team across the region. We worked quite together, even though that means around the clock. It also means we get the best outcome for our customers.
So cool. So cool. So let's just step back a little bit. Is there some magic marker or some magic moment where businesses should be seeking funding? What do you think?
My Andrea always says this, and this is true, which is get funding when you don't need it. When you're cash flow positive, when you have some breathing space, you can actually plan ahead and give yourself time to make the decision instead of putting yourself where you're covering operating expense, you can't pay the payroll and the taxes, and you're having to take on whatever is available for you. Of course, naturally that's going to happen because business owners are busy. They've got, they're wearing 100 different hats and they put themselves in a position where they're like, I really need to cover the next quarter and they don't have enough. Those are always challenging, but also expensive. If there's a right conversation around the return on the debt, then yes. But best time to get funding is when you really don't need it.
Okay, so for everyone that's listening right now, the best time to reach out to Swoop is today. Like,
Yeah,
do it today, right? Start the conversation happening at the very least. Yeah, yeah.
absolutely. Because these
Okay,
things as well, Sarah, sorry to add, is it takes time to put everything together, especially when businesses at that medium-sized section is looking for growth funding of anywhere beyond 4, 5, 6 million. They need to position themselves well and truly before they need it. And so that when the lender and the banks are taking their time to turn it around in 8 weeks or in 12 weeks, we can help position that much quicker for them too.
that's awesome. Yeah. And that probably segues quite nicely into my next question. Is there different funding solutions that are like better suited to different sizes of business? And, are you talking when you're thinking about sizes of business, is it revenue? Is it business valuation? How are you approaching that?
Yeah, we do quite a bit in the business purchase section as well when businesses or individuals are looking to buy a business or acquire an additional business that requires a lot more hand holding in that type of transaction. Typically, the products that you'll look at seeing or putting yourself into is 5, 6, 7, or sometimes even 15-year term loans, which is an amortizing principal and interest facility. And you pay that either monthly or weekly, depending on the lender or the bank is offering you those facilities. And that gives most businesses in that section, whether that's new, some breathing space because they also have interest only products for the first 12 months. But I always say if you're going to buy a business, have a little bit of war chest and have some liquidity in there to support you. Just because if your business plan says one thing, but the market does another thing, then you can cover yourself on both grounds. For the SME spaces that's been trading for like more than 2 to 3 years, you have your term loan products, your working capital, your business overdraft facilities that are really great for when you need it on a rainy day as well. And then naturally, if you're a point hacker, there's lots of business credit cards out there actually. And you can refer it. I've had a customer who got a business credit card and then refer all his business friends and got up to about $500,000 in points and then got him and his whole family of four over to Japan and back. So, if you don't want to pay the business class price today, then point hack and you're going to get covered anyways. And some credit cards have like a interest-free period, but it also depends on your cash flow cycle when you're expecting those invoices to come in and flush it through. The big reminder for businesses is that this isn't your money, you're borrowing it and you're paying for it. So use it wisely. But if you can get access to a facility that is interest free or interest only for a certain period and you can point hack and get some additional benefits, why not as well?
Oh, yes, you are singing from my song sheet. I think that's amazing. One of the things that we've spoken about earlier as well is that you guys not only look at borrowing facilities, but you also suggest things like grants that might be available to businesses. Can you
Yeah.
talk a little bit about that?
Depending on the type of business that's coming through, there's small businesses don't know that they can actually also claim R&D when they're developing a new product for food or in manufacturing space or in the wholesale space as well. There are grants to do export markets. So if a business wants to look at expanding to different markets across, let's say Europe or in America, you can actually claim a proportion of those expenses back under a specific grant as well. In the UK, there's a grant where it's a dollar for dollar. If you move there and set up a business genuinely in the UK, the government will match up to $250,000 if you bring in that new capital into their economy as well.
Wow. These are
Hmm.
hacks that I didn't know anything about. So, you guys are a wealth of knowledge, aren't you? It's
Yeah, I try to
incredible.
memorize them when I'm having conversations with people because I always find that it's useful. It's information I didn't know before I started at Swoop, but the world is huge and grants are not free. My grant writers and partners always say, tell the customers to scrub their social media, to make sure they look professional online because all of that is checked behind the scenes as well.
Oh, that's a good tip that you've just given there. I hope everyone heard that. If you didn't, you better go and rewind that tip because that was a really good one. We have also spoken before about something that was near and dear to, well, is near and dear to my heart. We were talking before about helping businesses grow outside of that kind of famous 5 year kind of barrier that occurs for businesses. How does Swoop help in that space? Because it seems like that might be a place that you guys, I'm going to venture and say, specializing in because you've seen it as a problem in the market.
Yeah, yeah. The 5 year cliff. I call it the 5 year cliff. It is from year one to year five when you're starting a business. It is hard work. You're trialing different methods of getting the right revenue. You're, working through your network, trying to build customer and a retention. And then after 5 years, you get to a really good steady pace where then it becomes whether you decide as a business whether you want to just continue on the consistent revenue year on year. I've seen businesses where they've been trading for 25 years and they just do the same number of revenue every year. 1.1, 1.2, 1.3. And they're happy to do that. And they're profitable as well. I think the net profit on that business particular from memory is about 380 to 400. year on year. And that's really great. That business model is very lean. It's actually in retail, surprisingly, and it's
Wow.
only got probably a team of 3 or 4. And we're now in a day and age where you don't need massive teams or 50 people in your, I guess, in your company or in your office to feel big or to get to a profitability stage. Sometimes it's just really highly capable individuals in your business doing good work, but consistent over time. If you choose that pathway, then that's amazing. Or you can go where you can, 10x your growth by developing more commercially sound partnerships or establishing yourselves in different markets, where some of my Aussie businesses have launched into different markets and won tendering contracts actually. And those are worth a few $1 million every year. And so that might set in place 12 by or 1+1, and then it's option to renew depending on the quality, but also the products. Wholesale and manufacturing is such a winner in those spaces when it comes to exporting goods from Australia into those spaces or creating Australian goods and then sending them overseas as well. The international market loves it, and there's huge growth. I've seen clients grown from 2, 3 million a year to like 33 million in like 5 years that I've worked with them. So, for that's strong growth, and you can do that if you wanted to, but that's if that's the entrepreneur I suppose you want to be. But if steady and consistent, that's also amazing. Really good, consistent flow. No stress, I would say, anyways. You're just doing the same numbers year on year, and they've just got those models down pat.
I hope that everyone can hear as you're talking, Cynthia, just the strategist within Cynthia and how she thinks about businesses and her passion about businesses as well, because it really shines through in what you are saying. And certainly when people are at that place where they're making quite critical decisions, business owners are making critical decisions. Do I want to go more of a lifestyle type business and maintain the team and, like what we're doing right now? Or do I want to take another risk, take a bold leap forward and grow my business? And if that is a choice, then what do I need to do in order to fund that? And I see a lot of business owners that are self-funding and trying to self-fund growth. And as a result, that means that they're limiting their own growth potential in some cases. What would you say to somebody who's thinking that the only pathway is self-funding?
There's a saying in the market, which is good debt and bad debt. Bad debt is not being able to pay that debt off really quickly, but also not having a good, clear understanding of how you're using the funds. If you're using it, honestly, if you're using to cover your payroll and your wages this month, you're probably not really in a good position. Then you should probably focus on your top line revenue and work through a really good sales strategy. Maybe you have to kick off that sales manager that you're paying way, way too much per year and not producing enough. You have to reconsider some strategies on the digital, on the offline. But where I see it really happening is for businesses predominantly who again don't need the funding and have a really good understanding of how they're going to use their funding. So there are products where it's also called MCA products, merchant cash advance, or there are a couple of people who do it already to support online and e-commerce businesses, which is like Wayflyer, Shopify's in those spaces, where the annual interest rates are actually really competitive. They're under 10%, but they can go into facilities of up to 20 mil for these businesses. And how they kind of predict the way a business is going to be successful is based on a couple line items, but I know the biggest one is actually marketing spend. The more marketing dollars they've seen out the door, the more revenue and customer comes in for them. So yeah, I would say those businesses, for those owners, think about how much that debt is going to cost you, what your use of fund is, and are you really in a good position to take on more when you really need it to have is a restructuring conversation.
Yeah. Oh, such wise advice. Oh, it's brilliant. Brilliant. Okay, can we shift gears slightly? And I'd love for
Absolutely.
you to spend a little bit of time just sharing what's some of the results. If you were to share with me some of your happiest client stories, What's some of the results that clients from Swoop have enjoyed?
I have worked with most of my clients from day one, actually, and have put them in really amazing facilities where it's propelled them forward, not back. And those have been my probably wins, other than like, good steady revenue growth for Swoop. Those customer stories kind of live outside of these four walls of the office. Is when I see my customers win outside and they're like, hey, I've got this contract. Hey, I've just been able to hire more people, or I went from one to four in 3 years, and I've only been here for 4 years, so I can't imagine what they're going to be in the next 5 years as well. But my customers are really the real reason why, those late hours or the extra days, putting over the weekend, it makes it all worthwhile because I'm kind of sick and tired of other people in the market trying to put a band-aid solution for something that's not going to work out, and then stacking up multiple different lenders in there sometimes, all just to get a win. And I think the best interest of a customer should be always positioning them not for tomorrow, but how do I think and help them for funding for the next 12 to 36 to 60, 84, 7 years, months down the line. And when I have them call me or email me again, even when, it's not ideal for me, that's fantastic. That's still a win. Again, at the end of the day, whatever title we all play this era, our customers are the people who are really going to dictate where we're going to be, right? And if they don't win, we also we don't win too in what we do.
Yeah. Yeah. So, so true. And, I bet you have made such a difference in those customers' lives. From everything from the way in which you approach a customer, your knowledge in the space as well, how the platform helps iron all of that out and
Yeah.
makes choices clearer or opportunities clearer.
Mhm.
And also, as we've just experienced today, some of the sage business advice that you just seem to spin out for free as well. It's quite amazing.
Yeah,
So
I really enjoy it, to be honest. I
I could tell.
to be there's one customer, or there's another one that just came to mind. He came through the platform organically. He was on a interest rate of 24%. We re-looked at everything. Of course, naturally, that was eating into his gross profit margin. And we refinanced that 250 debt into a 9.95 facility.
Wow.
Yeah, like those are amazing. And he calls me anytime, not even just to talk about funding. He goes, almost like business advisory. Hey, Cynthia, how do you think I should do this? Which market I should go? And I always say, speak to your accountant, speak to a qualified business advisor. As much as I love doing this for you, I can only tell you about our funding landscape. But here's a grant that might be available for you in this territory because you're in Victoria, for example. Have you, thought about exiting in the next 5, 10 years? Is that what you want? If you do, here's capital raising partners that you can review. Also, here's some bank accounts that you should probably review from a business savings point of view as well. So yeah, like I try to make sure I stick to what we have and then use our network and our partners to help them carry through the next stage.
Yeah. Yeah. It's absolutely brilliant. So, talking of Swoop and future timelines, what can we expect from Swoop in the future?
Probably good consistent growth, really. But I guess the DNA of who we are is to continue to help businesses access different types of funding sources, whether that's again across from debt, grants, or equity. Talk to us about your startup idea. Talk to us about wanting to exit anything related to commercial. We can do it. Our team is effectively trained to help you guys, not just for the short term, but over the long period of time as well.
Amazing. Amazing. Well, this has been a quick fire, rapid fire kind of approach, but I feel like we have learned a lot from you, Cynthia, in such a short space of time. How best can people get hold of you or access the Swoop platform? What's the best way for people to contact you guys?
Awesome. If you go on our website, swoopfunding.com, there should be multiple different flags there. Find the Aussie one. go on that page, create an account, and have a go yourself and play around. As soon as you put through an account, generally our team is really good at actioning them. So they'll probably call you within like half an hour, give or take.
Wow, that's rapid. That's rapid. And what about for businesses outside of Australia? Have they got coverage as well?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's the same thing. So you go to the website, pick your flag, and our team in those localized areas will reach out to you. Some of them are much quicker. They love speaking to customers, so be prepared for a conversation.
It's amazing. Oh, you make it so easy. It's so good. All right. Well, thank you, Cynthia, for your time. It has been an absolute pleasure being able to talk with you. And I hope that all of you that are listening to this video have been inspired by some of the potential funding opportunities that you may not have even thought about or considered and could be the very thing that you're looking for next to grow your business. So if that's you, get on that Swoop funding platform and make sure that you start to log your details so then the team can reach out to you. Thank you
Awesome.
once again, Cynthia. It's been amazing having you. And yeah, I hope we can do another one of these in the future, actually.
Absolutely. Please feel free to reach out to us again. And thank you, Sarah, for your time this morning.
Oh, thank you. All right.